Welcome to this tutorial on using conditional formatting in Excel. This is the feature that lets your data highlight itself. For example, you can make all sales figures over a certain amount automatically turn green, or show the highest exam results with little bars that fill across the cell. You can even use color scales to reveal patterns instantly, like turning lower temperatures blue and higher temperatures red. And if the built-in options don't quite do what you want, there's also a custom rule option where you can define your own conditions using a formula. So, let's walk through the different forms of conditional formatting and how to use them in a real spreadsheet. We'll start with the simplest, and probably the most commonly used, highlight cells rules. These are perfect for quick checks. If you want to spot values greater than a number, find dates before today, or pick out cells containing specific text, this is where you go. Just select your data, open the Conditional Formatting menu on the Home tab, choose Highlight Cells Rules, and pick the type you need. Excel then asks for the condition and how you want the cells to look. It's quick, visual, and ideal for straightforward comparisons. Next are the top and bottom rules. These work well when you want to focus attention on extremes in your data, like the top 5 performers, the bottom 10% of results, or anything above or below the overall average. Once you choose the rule, Excel highlights the values that stand out the most, without you having to sort or filter your sheet. Then there are data bars. These place a horizontal bar inside the cell, so the number becomes more like a mini chart. Higher values create longer bars, lower values shorter ones, and the result is a very easy way to compare a whole column at a glance. It's especially useful when you don't want to clutter a sheet with actual charts but still want a strong visual cue. Color scales work in a similar way but with color instead of bars. Excel blends 2 or 3 colors across the selected range, with the highest and lowest values getting the most distinct shades. This is a great way to reveal trends or patterns immediately, things like highs and lows, clusters of values, or gradual increases and decreases. Another option is icon sets. These add small symbols to each cell, arrows, traffic lights, stars, flags, and more. They can quickly show direction, rating, or status. For example, you could use green, amber, and red circles to track project progress. Excel decides which icon to show based on thresholds, and you can customize those thresholds if you want more control. Now let's look more closely at custom rules, because this is where conditional formatting becomes far more flexible than it first appears. When you go into New Rule, you'll notice there are several categories you can choose from before you even get to formulas. One of the most useful is Format Only Cells That Contain. This lets you target cells based on the type of content they hold. For example, you can format cells that contain specific text strings, maybe anything that includes the word overdue, or any cell where the text begins with a certain prefix. You can also choose to format based on the cell's value, so you're not limited to simple greater than checks from the standard highlight rules. You can specify values between 2 numbers, equal to something specific, or not equal to something at all. Another category allows you to format cells based on whether they contain dates, blanks, or errors. And finally, you have the User Formula to determine which cells to format option, the most powerful one of all, where you can create your own rule by writing a formula that returns true or false. This gives you complete control and lets your formatting respond to almost any logic you can express in Excel. It's ideal for linking conditions across different columns, building more advanced checks, or creating rules that simply aren't possible with the built-in presets. Once you've applied a few rules, it's also worth knowing how to review and manage them. In the Conditional Formatting menu, the Manage Rules window shows you every rule applied to your worksheet. Here you can edit rules, change how they're ordered, widen or narrow the range they apply to, or delete ones you no longer need. This becomes essential when rules start overlapping or when you're combining several types of formatting in the same sheet. So that's conditional formatting in a nutshell, simple highlighting for quick checks, top and bottom rules for extremes, data bars and color scales for visual impact, icons for status, and custom rules when you want full control. Used well, it turns a plain spreadsheet into something that tells its own story at a glance.